So let me go across to Supriya Srinath first, because the charge that the BJP levels is the charge of political sycophancy. So instead of picking an issue of concern to the Aam Aadmi, take for example the issue of inflation, the Congress has jumped on trying to protect the Gandhi family. And there are multiple questions, and we'll take them one by one. For example, the question that Smriti Irani asked in a press conference, taking a loan from a Kolkata-based shell company by the name of Dotex Merchandise, which is giving a loan of 1 crore rupees. And these are questions that the Gandhi family and Rahul Gandhi need to answer. Why do you think this big political protest that you staged through the day, congressmen rallying around Rahul Gandhi, was better than, say, the Congress trying to protest against price rise?
So first things first, I think because you quoted a union minister leveling charges, it's only fair that I answer those charges first and then come around to why we must not protest on the streets of Delhi, which is our constitutional right, quite frankly, and has been won through a well-fought independence. Smriti Irani goes on to quote Dotex. Yes, a loan of 1 crore was taken from Dotex, an RPG group company. It's an RPG group company. It's a very, RPG is a listed entity. You know about the Goenka group. A 1 crore loan was taken at an interest rate of 14%. That money was taken by check and returned by check. So I don't think the minister perhaps understands financial transactions. Money was taken by check, returned by check. 14% interest rate is the rate at which that money was taken. It is also a fact that the BJP is leveling charges against the RPG group. Now, if you have an issue with Dotex, please go ahead and investigate them. Do not level shell company charges against RPG group, which is a listed entity.
Okay, so pause that for a second, because that's a very specific response, and I'm coming back to you, Supriya, for more.
Yes.
Since the charge of Dotex was leveled by the BJP, Sambit Patra, 14% interest paid, amount taken by check, paid by check, and this is not a shell company but belongs to a reputed industrial house. If this is true, then was the BJP firing blanks in the hope that something would connect?
See, coming to the specifics, Rahul, as far as whether this is sycophancy or satyagraha.
No, we leave that for a moment. One second. We leave satyagraha or... No, one second. Sambit. We leave the issue of satyagraha and sycophancy for a moment. I'm asking you about the principal point of attack by the BJP about Dotex.
I'm coming to the specifics of Dotex. I'm coming to the specifics of Dotex itself. Remember one thing, we over here, the lawyers present in the panel, nor the spokespersons present in the panel are the deciding authority. Whether it was taken by check, whether it was returned or not, because I was hearing your own correspondent right now from ED, who said that there were certain uncomfortable questions to Rahul Gandhi about Dotex, and Rahul Gandhi said that I am not aware of the fact that we have taken loans from Dotex. Exactly, this is what your reporter said. So if Rahul Gandhi is not aware of the loan, he is not aware whether his company Young India has taken loan from Dotex and the way they have taken loan from Dotex. I'm astonished as to how the spokesperson knows. Secondly, and most importantly, Rahul, all this issue, including the issue of Dotex, the payment ways, etc., went to 3 courts. It went to the High Court, it went to the trial court, it went to the Supreme Court. Despite all these pleas in front of the court by leading lawyers of the Congress party, remember Kapil Sibal, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, etc., were part of the legal eagle that were facing the courts. They could not convince the judges. What did the Supreme Court say? And I have the Indian Express's cutting for 2016. The Supreme Court said, after the Delhi High Court refused to squash the proceeding, the Gandhis moved the Supreme Court, which in 2016 directed all the accused persons to face criminal proceedings so that there could be a free trial. This is what was the Supreme Court's takeaway. I mean, the Indian Express has reached so in 2016.
No, but
so for God's sake, if there is any
matter, no, one second.
The best way,
if Kolkata has multiple shell companies, Dr. Patra, the BJP in a press conference has leveled a charge. If that transaction happened through check, returned by check, with interest being paid, then that raises questions about the charge that you leveled. You think, how did Rahul Gandhi know? How does the government know if that's between the investigating agency and the accused?
Can I please come in?
Yes, Supriya, go on.
Can I please come in? I don't know if the BJP spokesperson or the minister. It's my turn to speak, please. It's my turn.
One at a time. Supriya.
It's astonishing that the BJP spokesperson says, how do I know? It doesn't take a lot. Young India has directors It's registered with the registrar of companies. Its accounts are duly audited by the income tax department. You have all the details. You can go to ROC, you have to pay a minimum fee and you can get details of any company that you want to. So if you do not know, it shows your ignorance. आपको नहीं पता ये आपकी गलती है. आपकी मंत्री आकर वहां पर एक शगुफा छोड़कर चली जाती है, ये आपकी गलती है. Young India has been duly audited by the income tax department. There is a registrar of companies. Everything is maintained with them, and that is where I'm quoting from. A 1 crore loan was taken at 14%. Money was returned. But anyways, I want to take this debate a little forward. What is this whole issue about? What are the charges? 8-year-old charges of money laundering, summons being issued now. We have no issues with that. The reason why we have issues is that Young India is a company that's formed under Section 25 of the Old Companies Act. मुझे तो यहाँ पर अगर बीजेपी के प्रवक्ता ये बता दें कि नई कंपनीज एक्ट में वो कौन सा सेक्शन है, सेक्शन 8 है उनकी जानकारी के लिए, तो मैं मान जाती. उसके तहत no shareholder, no director, nobody can be paid even a paisa's dividend. No salary, no profit, no remuneration from there. How, when no money, no asset has been transferred, are there charges of money laundering? You are making a mockery of the system. You are making a mockery of the law. AJL had 90 crore loans.
Can I come
on
in,
its
please?
okay. That loan was converted into equity like it is done in corporate India, like it is done for multiple companies. The Indian law gives provision for that. And let me tell
Rahul.
you, after the
No, it's not that simple. It's not that simple because 76% of the equity, 76% of the equity was owned by Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi. Madam, they are not the Congress party. That is the other reality.
So, they are directors on the Young India board. What do you mean they are not the Congress party?
Yeah, how do you, once again, a party, I'm going to let Sambit Patra respond to that. A party is a political entity. These are individuals. So effectively, assets taken from a political entity have been transferred to individuals, but let Sambit Patra respond to that.
You're wrong there. Young India is where there is no asset transfer that has happened.
Rahul, I did not shout and interrupt anyone in the middle of their version.
Supriya, you made a point.
Thank you so
Supriya, you made a point. Let Sambit speak.
Registrar of companies
Rahul, first and foremost, as to Rahul, I did not disturb anyone. This is not the way of your debating. Thank you so much, Rahul. Rahul, number one. See, as far as the income tax, the audition of the income tax, etc. is concerned, is it not true that Rahul Gandhi did not, in his 2011-12 income tax exhibits, did not in fact explain that did not disclose that he was one of the directors of the Young India Private Limited? And how much shareholding he was doing in Young India Private Limited, and that's the reason as to why there was a notice sent by the income tax that whether you are a director in Young India Private Limited, to which an affirmative answer was given by Rahul Gandhi, to which the income tax department said that since you are a director and since in fact there have been transactions, why this was not disclosed in your income tax disclosures, and that's the reason as to why he has attracted the
why did you make that charge
and the enforcement director in question, number one. Number two, as far as all these charges are concerned, Dotex, is it not true that when Dotex was in fact questioned by the ED, Dotex agreed to the fact that they are shell companies and they have converted Hawala money into checks and checks into Hawala money? This is what Dotex does, and they have accepted that to the ED. Rahul, first and foremost, this is not the way of debate, Rahul. I have never shouted in the middle of anyone. I never shouted and interrupted the Congress spokesperson. I mean, if she's so proud in celebrating corruption, why couldn't she be the one? Why did they send Kapil Sibal to represent the Congress party? Our learned spokesperson from Congress party should have been representing the Congress and the Sonia and Rahul the family. In the Supreme Court said that you have to face it. Just a second. You are puerile, ma'am. Okay. Don't shout in the middle and don't interfere. Have some mannerisms, please.